Now that the weather is finally starting to warm up and you're able to get out of your house, we went to visit a local winery and see what they have to offer and how they get their grapes from the vine to the bottle.
The vineyard at Happy Valley Winery is not your typical commercial vineyard. Owner Elwin Stewart and his wife do all they can to make their vineyard as green as possible.
We figure that on an average we generate about 70 to 80% of our power needs with this photovoltaic system that's on top of the winery up here.
Sustainability is the name of the game. From the compost of all winemaking waste to even the orientation of their vineyard.
We compost pretty aggressively, and all of the compost, the finished compost, then goes back on the vineyard. So we're using a natural form of fertilizer instead of buying commercial fertilizers. The vineyard itself is kind of sustainable because of its orientation. The rows are pointing approximately north-south. We have strong westerly winds all summer long. That helps dry the vineyard out if we have rain events or heavy dew in the morning. So right away you're using less pesticides to control fungal diseases and in some cases even insects.
On this 9-acre vineyard, there are 15 varieties of grapes that are hand-picked in early fall.
We begin picking here in the middle of September, and usually we try to be done by the third week of October if the frost holds off. And our final picking of the reds really depends on the frost season. So the longer the frost waits, the longer we allow the reds to hang on the vines, because you ultimately end up enhancing the quality of the final product, which is the wine, by doing that.
To get the tasty alcoholic beverage, the raw wine gets pumped from tank to tank, something they call working the wine.
So you start off racking the wine off of what's called the rough lees, and as you subsequently rack, and that means pumping it off out of one tank into a clean tank, and that usually leaves what's called the lees on the bottom. So you pump it over and allow it to set for 4 to 6 weeks, and more lees settle to the bottom. You pump it off into another clean tank, and you do that 3 or 4 times. And at that point then, if you're dealing with white wine and it's in stainless steel tanks, you just make sure that it's sealed and protected and let it set. The red wine goes through essentially the same process. At some point, if you're going to go into oak, then you intervene in that process and get it into oak barrels right away.
The wine will sit in oak barrels anywhere from 12 to 16 months. From there, the wine is bottled in-house and ready for purchase. Happy Valley Winery has a number of award-winning wines, with some popular ones being the Meritage and Appalachia Red. Their list of over 20 wines has something to please any palate.